And here are some of the main characters listed in the picture are Augie Pullman in the middle. In back of Augie is his sister Olivia Pullman. To the right is Isabel Pullman, his mother, and to the left is his dad, Nate Pullman. Alienation is the first sociological concept that I connected to the movie Wonder, and alienation is a theoretical concept developed by Karl Marx that describes the isolating, dehumanizing, and enchanting effects of working within a capitalist system of production. And here in this picture is someone being alienated because they are colored in red as compared to the people colored in white. And here's also another illustration that I got off the internet, which is someone sitting alone away from the rest of the world because that person feels alienated. How was it illustrated in the movie? Alienation was illustrated in the movie because Augie doesn't go to a local school, which is he is homeschooled by his mother because he feels the need to alienate himself from the community because of his facial differences. That makes Augie wear his astronaut helmet anywhere he goes, which would be to the store. And when he started at his local 5th grade school, he wore that helmet to the first day because he didn't want others to see his facial differences. Olivia also felt alienated by her parents, Isabel and Nate, because they both would always pay attention to Augie since he needed that extra attention because of his disabilities and of course his facial differences, which led Augie to being depressed and lonely, so he needed that extra support from his parents. As being compared to Olivia, she didn't really need that support because she was normal looking. And a quote that Olivia would always say throughout the movie was, "My house was like the earth. It revolved around the son, not the daughter." And obviously the son is being connected to the actual son, which is Augie Pullman. And here is a picture that is Olivia Pullman and Augie Pullman is obviously wearing the astronaut helmet because he doesn't want others to see what he looks like. Discrimination is the second sociological concept that I connected to the movie Wonder. And discrimination is an action or practice that excludes, disadvantages, or merely differentiates between individuals or groups of individuals on the basis of some ascribed or perceived trait. And here is a picture that people could easily be discriminated by because they are different races. And another picture of them being that them discriminating how people look, which are their facial differences, and some are accepted and some aren't. How is it illustrated in the movie? Well, there were indirect discrimination and direct discrimination in this movie, which are two major different types of discrimination. However, Augie Pullman experienced more of the direct discrimination than the indirect discrimination, but he did, however, suffer some indirect discrimination. And indirect discrimination is when there's a practice, policy, or rule which connects to everyone in the same way. However, it causes a worse effect on others. And a way that he experienced this was Julian, one of his classmates, photoshopped Augie from the class photo and began to show other people. And later on in the movie, he got that picture and he put it on Augie's locker, which made Augie very upset. And direct discrimination is the legal term that applies if you treat someone else less favorably than someone else has been treated because that person has other differences. And in Augie's case, his difference would be his physical features. A way that he experienced that was Augie wanted to sit next to Amos, one of his classmates, and he refused to let him sit there because it was saved. But in reality, it wasn't. He just didn't want Augie Pullman to be sitting next to him because he was obviously known as a freak at his school. Another way was Julian, a classmate, made fun of him for having a braid on the back of his head, which that happened on his first day of going to his local 5th grade school. Augie got home and ended up cutting that braid because he felt discriminated that his classmates were making fun of him. And his favorite holiday was also Halloween, so others wouldn't have to see his face. because when he didn't have anything over his face, he easily felt discriminated because everyone would always be looking at him weird. For example, that shows that in the picture because it's Augie Pullman and everyone is turning around like they've never seen someone like him before. Achieve status. Achieve status is the third sociological concept that I connected to this film, and it is a position that is earned or chosen. And here I put a picture of Jack Wow and Augie Pullman because they later on in the movie ended up becoming friends, and that would be a chosen achieve status because Jack Wow chose to accept him and chose to be Augie's friend. And this is also another achieve status. It is not in the movie, but I got it off the internet, and that is two women that went to school obviously to graduate, and they earned that status because they went to school to graduate. How is it illustrated in the movie? Well, achieve status is greatly shown throughout the movie, but it's mainly throughout the end of the movie. Augie won the Henry Ward Beecher Medal, and he earned that status for being the student whose quiet strength has carried